Why, hello, you lovely people. It is episode 20 of the Wrestling Matters podcast, ladies and gentlemen. You know who I am by now, well, you should. If not, I'm Anthony Walker, the HDEDA of the day, back for another episode. And now I'm going to kick this off. We know what we're going to do. Next week's going to be a little bit different. I'll get to that later. But we know what we're going to do. We're going to talk about Raw. A very good Monday Night Raw this week. A very interesting one, too. Talk about TNA. We talk about SmackDown, too. As well as other things that matter in the world of professional wrestling. And I'll give you my views and opinions like I always do. Why? Because how I roll on this show. I pipe bomb. I tell it like it is. I tell the truth. You don't have to agree with it, but hey, everybody has an opinion. Speaking of opinions, as you well know, last week podcast, I told you and I gave my opinions about Alberto Del Rio. Well, it seems from what I've got this week that Mr. Del Rio has joined AAA Promotions. That's right, in Mexico. So basically, he's headed off back to Mexico. Apparently, he's supposed to be on one of their pay-per-views this upcoming. I don't know where it's a bit. I think it's this weekend, I'm not quite sure. Obviously, he can't compete on it with the clause in the contract that's going on, the 90-day clause of the contract that if you leave WWE, you can't wrestle for 90 days, kind of thing. I don't know why they do that. But hey, it is what it is. And yeah, he seems to be going back there. So Mr. Del Rio is now a part, or seems to be a part, of AAA's Mexico promotion. The Mexico promotion AAA. Get that right, Walker. So we'll probably never see him again, at least in the United States anyway. On the big two. That is, but you never know, you might still see him in TNA, but the reason why he's probably went back to AAA is because at the rate TNA going, they might not even be around after October, considering with the network stuff and everything, unless they find a new network. Speaking of TNA, apparently TNA is moving to Wednesdays on Spike, and if anybody's listening to this right now and telling me what the point of that is, I would probably like to know, because correct me if I'm wrong, aren't they pulling the plug on Spike, or aren't Spike pulling the plug on TNA in October? You know, they've already made, it's already been clear through TMZ that they're cancelling the show, so it just doesn't make sense. Why are they moving a product, or why are they moving a television show, TNA Impact Wrestling, whatever you want to call it, to Wednesdays when they're cancelling it in October? You know, my brain, anyone, help, please? It just doesn't make sense. But that's what they're doing anyway. Apparently NXT's moving to Wednesdays as well as SmackDown looks to be going back to its usual time, its usual slot, which is on Thursday, because everybody knows that SmackDown was on Thursdays, and for some strange reason they ended up getting moved to Fridays, but it seems to be going back to Thursdays again. Whether that will take place or not, I don't think anything's been confirmed yet from what I've seen, but we'll just have to wait and see if that goes through. Yeah, but I'm still baffled about why that's TNA's moving a television, Spike's moving a television program, TNA, you know, Impact Wrestling, to Wednesdays on Spike instead of Thursdays, when in October they're cancelling it. This doesn't make sense. Why do something like that now when you're cancelling, it in October, you know? Unless there's a deal that we don't know about that's been struck up, and, you know, so TNA is somehow staying on Spike. I don't know. But it just doesn't make sense. You know, it really just does not make sense at all. Well, at least to me. As we all know, ladies and gentlemen, SummerSlam is past. I hope you all enjoyed SummerSlam. I know I probably did. Hope you all enjoyed SummerSlam anyway. And we're moving on to Raw, SmackDown, Fallout from SummerSlam this week as well. But again, that will be next week, because we'll talk about Raw and hopefully SummerSlam as well, an in-depth discussion on August 25th show. Because on August 25th, I will hopefully be having a guest on the show called Vicky Earls. That's right, the Irish commodity. That is what it's been told. It's very difficult to get in touch with her to organise the time and everything. She says Tuesdays, but the problem is I'm busy on Tuesdays, so we'll have to wait and see anyway. But I've got another person on standby as well to come on the show, Mr. James Powers. I was on James's Wrestling Rambles last week, so if you haven't seen it, check that out. Again, links to him will be in the description and whatnot. It was episode 29 of the show. Make sure you have a listen to that, because I was on there with my good buddy and sometimes arch nemesis, considering what he did to me in the Beat the Clock tournament on Sunday Segue, Mr. Mike Rodriguez. But yeah, it was a good show, good laugh. Talked about Raw, which is what I'm going to do. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do that right about now. The Raw main points. Raw kicked off this week, ladies and gentlemen. Raw main points now. Raw kicked off this week with the number one contender for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, Mr. Brock Lesnar, and Paul Heyman. Now, here comes the conqueror, and perhaps the future WWE World Heavyweight Champion. For the first time since being named challenger to John Cena's throne, Brock Lesnar appeared on Raw with Paul Heyman as ever at his side, 6 days away from the biggest fight of the summer, at the biggest show of the summer too, or the biggest party of the summer. Heyman gave hype men the world over a run for their money, promising a meaner than ever, Lesnar will emerge victorious. For what it's worth, Lesnar's shirt promised the same, because it said eat, sleep, conqueror, eat, sleep, conquer. Now, instead of saying streak, it said John Cena over it. Which is, absolute cheap way, but hey, works for him. I'm not complaining, works for him. If you're a fan of John Cena, don't miss SummerSlam, proclaimed Heyman, who called up WrestleMania 30 and Extreme Rules as evidence to support the claims of his client's physical superiority before dropping a rap at Cena's expense. Because after this Sunday, when Brock Lesnar is through with John Cena, you ain't going to see John Cena around here anymore. We shall see at SummerSlam. One thing is for sure, ladies and gentlemen, we are in at SummerSlam. We are in for one hell of a fight. A somewhat warm-up match for Roman Reigns at least. Roman Reigns putting a beat down on Axel. Well, towards the end of the match, it was, a nothing match. But Mr. Roman Reigns, obviously, Corporate Kane, Devil's favourite demon, once again surrendered his mask in shame to the Authority. However, Kane can just do as much damage in a suit and tie. The rechristened Director of Operations, once again moving and shaking on behalf of the Authority, looked to put Reigns in his place with a handicap match against Axel. It didn't quite go the way he would have liked. The bully seemed content to simply trash talk Reigns for the first stretch of the match, and Ryback's power maneuvers helped keep them in the game when Reigns responded with his signature brute force. Eventually, Ryback seemed to throw out the competition altogether and settled for simply beating the big dog up. As satisfied as they were to take the DQ loss, the statement cost them some stiff-armed retribution from Reigns, who Superman punched and speared both men into next Tuesday, and made it clear in no uncertain terms that he wasn't the slightest bit afraid of Randy Orton for SummerSlam. Going to be one hell of a match between them two at SummerSlam, I can tell you that for nothing. I think it's safe to say that SummerSlam is building up to be a great card. You've got the World Championship match, you've got Reigns and Randy Orton. I mean, holy moly, that's two big matches right there, isn't it? Seth Rollins and Rob Van Dam. Now, in a match that should have took place last week, even though Seth Rollins' match with Rob Van Dam wasn't slated, let's call it, last week on Raw, the whole damn show, and Mr. Money in the Bank enthusiastically picked up their own on-off rivalry 6 days out from SummerSlam's pay-per-view. Rollins employed the same strategy he typically does against Mr. Monday Night, targeting Rob Van Dam's legs to take away his high fly. It was Rollins' dodge of Rob Van Dam's corkscrew leg drop that really did the trick, leaving the former WWE champion humbled after his knee connected with the barricade. The damage didn't slow Rob Van Dam for long. The ECW original roared back with Rolling Thunder and a springboard moonsault that left Rollins seeing stars. Through Rollins' reversal of the monkey flip left Rob Van Dam stunned, and that the aerialist could execute the curb stomp and claim the win. Elias, his night did not end so easy, as Dean Ambrose ambushed his former Shield mate, having hidden in one of Hulk Hogan's birthday presents until the opportunity moment struck. And it was funny because Rollins was looking at the present. He just didn't look very clearly, because the minute his back was turned, Ambrose popped out and started putting the beat down. Now, the next main point on Raw, to be honest, I'm not even going to talk about this, because this was just like a carbon copy of what happened a couple of weeks ago, so I'll let you see for yourself and let you make your own decisions. Stephanie accusing Daniel Bryan of having an affair. Give me a break, I don't care about that moment. I'm not even going to talk about it. At the end of the day, I'm just waiting for the match. The sooner they get the match, the better. It's just ridiculous. It's just BS. And then Brie gets arrested. When have I seen that before? Oh yeah, a couple of weeks ago, Stephanie got arrested too. Look, I got nothing against these two. I just want to see the match. That's all I want to, I just want to see the match. Let's get on with it. Quit the talking. Let's get him in the ring and see the match. As always, John Cena hears everything that is said about him. He heard the cheers, he heard the boos, and most recently, he heard the mouth from Paul Heyman promising his demise at SummerSlam. So Cena decided to take the initiative in his part, so to speak, and challenge the Beast to a fight 6 days before he unleashes his own inner beast at SummerSlam. Of course, given that Brock Lesnar does not fight for free, the champ's words fell on deaf ears. So Cena was left to give a promise of his own that at SummerSlam he would conquer the Conqueror. One hell of a promo. You might want to check that promo out. Now on to, I guess you could say, the main event. Hogan's birthday. That's right. The greatest man ever, and the man that made professional wrestling what it is today, had a birthday party to remember. Eventually. Happy birthday, brother. The WWE Universe was promised a birthday blowout, and a birthday blowout they got when Hulk Hogan celebrated alongside WWE legends who paid homage to the Immortal One. Among those were Mean Gene Okerlund, Hogan's former manager Jimmy Hart, one of Hogan's greatest rivals, Ric Flair, the man that, along with Hogan, made WrestleMania, Roddy Piper, another WrestleMania opponent, Paul Orndorff, yep, Mr. Wonderful himself, and holy shit, they put the band back together. That's right, the original members of the NWO, Hall and Nash, the Outsiders. Hogan even broke out his old black and white duds for the occasion also, because they did a survey, and Hogan does his Hogan rip-off t-shirt, and underneath the red and yellow, the NWO t-shirt was there, which was pretty freaking cool to me. Me being the biggest NWO fan and biggest Hogan fan there ever is. That said though, there was a little hiccup before the Hulkster could dig into his birthday pizza celebration, his birthday cake. Having no desire to let Hogan hang and bang with his fellow legends, Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar crashed the party, and for a moment it looked like the Beast incarnate would make mincemeat of Hogan. That was until John Cena ran down to the ring at the 11th hour to save the celebration, and Lesnar made his exit at Heyman's insist, as they always do, whatever beating lies in store, it will wait for SummerSlam. And as WWE app and WWE Network and everything, the pre-show, Hogan had his birthday, and it was a birthday to remember for him. And that is the end of the Raw talking points. Impact main points. TNA main points. Impact opens up with Bully Ray and a recap of Dixie Carter being powerbombed through a table. Bully says after 4 long months, he kept his word to the fans. He thanks them and says he couldn't have done it without them all. Above all, he says he wants to thank his brother Devon. Devon celebrates in the ring with Bully Ray as the Hardy Boys enter the arena. Matt says it's been 12 years since the 4 of them were in the ring together. Team 3D and the Hardys agree to face each other one more time, to which Devon exclaims, "Oh my brother, testify." EC3, Rockstar Spud and Rhino enter the arena. Rockstar Spud demands a moment of silence for the Queen, Dixie Carter. The crowd vocally protests Spud's demand, sending him into a tizzy. EC3 demands the termination of Bully Ray from TNA Wrestling. He says there's a Carter ring and a Carter wrestling promotion, and that he's not leaving the ring until Bully Ray is fired. Kurt Angle interrupts by saying that EC3 is wasting time and that he'll wrestle tonight or leave the ring. EC3 says he spilled blood in the ring last week and that he'll not wrestle this week. Angle again states he'll wrestle or leave. EC3 refuses to leave. Angle calls out New York City's finest. Spud says he is not taking no orders from no Dunkin' Donut eating cops. The police jump and arrest EC3, Spud, and Rhino. New York City's finest arrests the Three Stooges. A 6-man tag match between Bobby Lashley, MVP, and Kenny King against Austin Aries, Eric Young, and Bobby Roode. Following the introductions, Roode and Lashley are to start the match. As they circle one another, Kenny King rushes into the ring and to attack Roode. Roode quickly gains control of the match and tags Austin Aries, who slingshots into the ring, landing on the chest of Kenny King. Aries makes a quick tag to Roode, who stomps the chest of King in the corner. Roode tags Eric Young, following a double-team takedown. EY attempts a pin. Kenny kicks out and tags MVP. MVP hobbles into the ring and quickly tags out to the World Heavyweight Champion, Bobby Lashley. Lashley overpowers Eric Young, but action spills to the arena floor and Eric Young gains the advantage. EY scouts Lashley from the top rope, but King pulls Young from the ropes as Lashley tags out. King and Lashley alternate tags until EY is finally able to tag in Austin Aries. Austin flies around the ring, taking out all of his opponents. Aries rushes towards King in the corner, but King gets a boot up, sending Aries to the floor. Lashley re-enters the match and begins overpowering his opponents. Aries reverses a power slam and climbs to the top rope, but a crutch to the back of the head, courtesy of MVP, sends him crashing down. When Aries stands, he is taken out by a spear from Bobby Lashley, who gets the pin. 1, 2, 3. The main event, Devon and Matt Hardy start the match in the center of the ring. They exchange takedowns and Matt tags Jeff. They drop Devon with a double elbow, but Devon is able to tag in Bully Ray. Team 3D double teams Jeff. Bully Ray maintains control until Jeff tags in Matt and fights off Bully Ray. The Hardy Boys double team Devon. Bully Ray grabs a handful of Jeff's hair and powers him to the mat. Devon attacks Matt from behind and Team 3D is in control. Devon and Bully Ray exchange tags while maintaining advantage of Jeff Hardy. They whip Jeff into the ropes. He tries to counter, but Team 3D powers him back to the mat. Jeff reaches for Matt as Bully Ray locks a submission. Jeff fights out. Bully reverses and climbs the turnbuckle. Jeff rushes up the ropes and sends Bully Ray flying with a Hurricane Rana. Jeff goes for a pin attempt, but Bully kicks out at 2. Each man makes a tag, bringing in Matt and Devon. Complexion of the match changes when Matt hits a side effect and then the moonsault. Bully breaks up the count on Devon. Devon drops Matt and turns his focus to Jeff on the top rope. Devon trips Jeff. He climbs and attempts a drop, but Matt comes up behind Devon and hoists him onto his shoulders. Jeff Hardy connects with a Whisper in the Wind move to take out Devon. Devon somehow kicks out at 2. Bully Ray is back into the match and Team 3D nails a doomsday device to the old Road Warriors. Bully Ray and Devon jump from the ring to get the tables. Jeff launches himself over the top rope, getting a springboard off Matt, and takes out both Team 3D members. Jeff rolls Devon into the ring. Matt nails a twist of fate. Jeff follows up with a swanton, again somehow kicks out at 2. Devon, that is. Bully rushes into the ring and catches Matt with a 3D. Devon makes the cover and the Dudleys, Team 3D, get a victory 1, 2, 3 in what was an epic main event. And that is the end of TNA's main points. SmackDown main points. The Miz hosted his mom's favorite WWE superstar, Roman Reigns, in a must-see episode of Miz TV to kick off SmackDown. The always arrogant Intercontinental Champion managed to make the interview all about himself, rapidly shooting off his mouth until he fed up. Seated Reigns delivered a punch square to Miz's moneymaker. The black-clad superstar then proceeded to predict a victory over Randy Orton at SummerSlam. In the height of a tough-as-nails matchup, Cesaro was unable to capitalize on his high-impact assault after falling victim to Dean Ambrose's dirty deeds. Following the hard-hitting contest, Seth Rollins emerged to get the last word in before the lumberjack match at SummerSlam on the unstable lunatic fringe known as Dean Ambrose. Mr. Money in the Bank made it clear that at SummerSlam he will prove he is the better man and better than his former Shield business associate, and you can watch him prove it on the WWE Network for $10. $9.99 to be precise. Seriously, they should make a t-shirt out of that now. It's gotten to that point, so they may as well just make a t-shirt out of it. Dallas's motivational message fell on deaf ears Friday night as Jack Swagger made the inspirational superstar tap out to the Patriot Lock, probably my favourite moment of SmackDown this year. After the contest, Lana and Rusev arrived in front of the Patriarch WWE Universe in Seattle to announce that the Bulgarian Brute forthcoming victory at SummerSlam will be dedicated to the Russian President Vladimir Putin. Following the ravishing Russian SmackDown speech, exactly on the WWE app, a still optimistic Dallas tries to make excuses for his loss before declaring his belief that the Russian supervisor would crush the real American this Sunday. Basically, it was a moment of who gives a fuck, quite frankly. By the way, earlier on on the podcast, I did Raw's main points. I said the whole damn show. I apologize. It's the whole fucking show. Rob Van Dam is and always will be the whole fucking show. Fucking WWE Logic, or as normally when you call WWE Logic, you call it WWE bullshit. Hey, that's just my opinion. Anyway, the SmackDown main event took place, and it was courtesy of what happened earlier on in the evening on the Miz TV. It was Miz and Roman Reigns. Miz tried to avoid further damage to his moneymaker in SmackDown's main event, but just as the Intercontinental Champion seemed ready to walk away at the height of the action, his SummerSlam opponent, Dolph Ziggler, arrived. The show-off's appearance allowed Roman Reigns the opportunity to Superman punch the Awesome One before hitting an earth-shattering spear to pick up the win. Sunday's pay-per-view SummerSlam is the biggest party of the summer. You can watch Roman Reigns versus Randy Orton and the big fight of the summer as well, John Cena versus Brock Lesnar, all for I won't say it because you might as well, because it's not only just the WWE network you can see it on, you can see it on pay-per-view. I like that, WWE. Anyway, I'm going to put on some promos now, quick commercials, and after this, I will be back with the final part of the podcast. Hope you've enjoyed it. We'll be back after this.
Well, enough is enough, and it's time for a change! Are you ready?
It is Sunday, and you're listening to the Sunday Segue Wrestling Podcast.
Give me a hell yeah! Get some love! Ooh, yeah!
With Kenny Killer.
Hey, yo! We're in the big D-Day, baby, and we are live! Woo!
I'm the Goddamn Sugar Should.
The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be! Cause that's the bottom line! Cause Stone Cold said so!
Download the Sunday Segue Wrestling Podcast now at iTunes. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Anthony Walker, the host of the Wrestling Matters Podcast, and you can now check out the Wrestling Matters Podcast on youtube.com/HAW Wrestling Matters. You can now go to Podomatic.com, iTunes, and now also you can go to a new one. That's right, a new site, Stitcher Radio. That's right, we're on Stitcher Radio right now. I'm on Stitcher Radio right now, and you could be too. Get yourself on there, download their app, the Stitcher Radio app, or the Stitcher app, whatever it is. Make sure you download their app, and you can listen to it on your phone anywhere you want, at any time you want, at any place you want. That's the Wrestling Matters Podcast now on YouTube, iTunes, Podomatic, and Stitcher Radio. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, after the promos and that, the adverts. Now we're going to get on to talking about whatever's relevant in the world of professional wrestling. And we're going to start, like I told you, like I told you at the beginning, Alberto Del Rio is confirming that he's going to be at a AAA event. I'll get to that in a bit. Apparently, Alberto Del Rio was told by WWE that he was being suspended before his firing, because we all know he got fired from WWE, but apparently he was being suspended. As noted, WWE released Alberto Del Rio after he slapped WWE's manager of social media live events at last week's TV taping. Del Rio confronted the manager in catering for a remark that he made, I'm guessing it's a he or she, I don't know, earlier. The story is that someone made a remark to the manager, about not cleaning off his plate as a joke. He said that it was Del Rio's job. Del Rio was not there at the time, but was told about it. When he confronted the manager, he told him he did not appreciate the racist remark and wanted an apology. It was going around backstage that Del Rio slapped the shit out of the manager, knocking him to the floor, and Del Rio's release wasn't so much that he assaulted the manager, but based more on how hard he hit him. Del Rio was reportedly told after the incident that he was being suspended for a short time until just past SummerSlam. There's a belief that manager threatened to sue WWE, and at that point, the social manager threatened to sue WWE. At that point, WWE felt they had no choice but to let Del Rio go due to legal reasons. Triple H called Del Rio and on August 7th, letting him go, and he was reportedly furious. So, you gotta do what you gotta do in the world, but, if anybody should have been let go, if that's the case, then If that's the case, what I've just read there, Del Rio shouldn't have been let go. He should have been let go. Because one thing you don't do is you don't do racist remarks. You don't cross that line. It's just, one of them cases where you threaten to sue, and as soon as someone, threatens to sue, you take a run and jump, and you have to do the things just to save the company, so to speak. It's just BS to me. Right, Alberto Del Rio will be getting a new ring name. Now he's back in AAA at least. Del Rio said he would no longer be using that name, Del Rio, because WWE owns it. His new ring name is El Patron. He would not talk about his WWE departure due to legal reasons, but said he would in a few weeks. Del Rio acknowledged he can't wrestle in AAA for 90 days, but his lawyers are working on making it to where he can wrestle at Triple Mania this Sunday. Del Rio has challenged El Texano Jr., Texano, for the AAA Mega Heavyweight Championship. Del Rio was asked about Rey Mysterio and said he doesn't know Rey's stature or situation. The president of AAA said Rey is under contract to WWE, and as long as that's the case, AAA cannot talk to him. But AAA will be open to bring Rey to the AAA promotion once his WWE contract expires. So could that be the next destination for him, for Rey Mysterio? He's already made it clear that I don't know if he's made it crystal clear that he's going back, but there's talk about him going back home to Mexico, so at least he's got something to fall onto if that's the case. And Roman Reigns has been doing an interview with CBS to promote SummerSlam, the pay-per-view, and he also had a message for a certain icon by the name of Sting. Chuck Carroll on CBS asked Reigns if he had ambitions to follow The Rock into Hollywood. Reigns replied, "I am willing to try anything and gain a little experience in anything. Is it something that is a big goal of mine? I can't say that it is right now because I'm so caught up in WWE, trying to be the face of the company and the top guy, as well as be the World Heavyweight Champion." Reigns also had a message for the icon Sting. For his sake, if he steps in the ring, Sting that is, I hope he stays away from me. I'm not the guy to run into these days. I think it's pretty cool just to be on the SummerSlam panel with him, just to chat and BS a little bit with him and all the guys. It's going to be a good time and anything can happen. But if he steps in the ring, he is a seasoned veteran, he knows what he's doing. But there's a whole bunch of young guys, young gins on the roster that are hungry and we're not trying to give any space for anybody else. So, is that a challenge from Roman Reigns to Sting? Sting versus Roman Reigns someday? It's a possibility. There's a lot of list at the moment of what's going on with Sting. These budget cuts that are going down. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I got asked this on James's Wrestling Rambles. Can anybody take the time to think about these budget cuts that WWE are doing? Could that be possible the reason why Sting is not on WWE television at this point? Because they might be building that up to pay for his salary, And is that stupid to a point? Yeah, it probably is. But at the end of the day, WWE have the marketing, have the background, have the merchandise goals, if you will, that they could do with Sting. They've already started it with the WWE 2K15 out in October, and the doll that they've got for him, the action figure. They've already started that. All these budget cuts and this, that and the other. If they push Sting right and use him properly and merchandise him right as well, they could make that money back in God knows how many years. If they do it right, they could make the money back and make it to a point, so to speak. I mean, that's only if they use him and they use him properly. If they don't, well, they may make a mess of it, which hopefully will not happen. But is it a risk? Yeah, it's a risk, but it's the risk worth taking because this may very well be a once in a lifetime to have Sting on the WWE roster. You wouldn't do it all them years ago, and now he's on, and now WWE want to cater to the guy and think, holy shit, we got Sting. Let's give him what he wants, so to speak, because like I say, it could be a once in a lifetime kind of deal, and it more likely is, considering the age he's at. As long as they use him properly, anything can happen. And Sting could still go in the ring. I don't care what anyone says, he can still go. And like Reigns quite rightly said in the interview there, he's a seasoned veteran, he knows what he's doing, he's no dummy. So, what will happen with Sting, who knows? I'm just looking forward to the 2K15 that's coming out. And I will be getting that. I've already placed my order, so the sooner it comes, the better. Also, on Raw, I just want to make a point. point out crystal clear as well. You guys have seen this new group that's supposedly formed between Xavier Woods, Kofi, and Big E. Now, apparently, from what I've gathered and what I've read, it was supposed to be a heel group, but last week on SmackDown, Big E Langston was a babyface because he wrestled Rusev, and apparently Kofi wrestled in Australia on an Australia tour as a babyface. So, they might have cancelled that very quickly. That idea very quickly. So whether it's still going ahead, I don't know. But that idea may very well be cancelled. That's what I read on the dirt sheets anyway. I don't know what the hell was going to happen. I mean, the only reason that would have made sense, that group, is if Kofi would have turned heel. I couldn't see a babyface run with that group if they were going to take place. For what it seems, it's not going to happen, but like I said, this is WWE we're talking about here, so anything can happen. One minute they'll say they'll do it, the next minute they'll end up doing it again, so... Well, it's a case of waiting and see where that goes, so to speak. Seeing there's anything else that is relevant to talk about, these websites. Shout out to Aaron Rift as well, NoDQ.com. If you don't know who this guy is, then you obviously never been watching his videos or following his page and whatnot. I mean, blooming heck. Now I'm going to talk about TNA for a little bit and see if there's any updates on what TNA is going to do. As far as getting a new. See if there's any update on a new network for them. Or one thing is for sure with all this, they've been cancelling a lot of live events and live events and that. They've been cancelling a lot of them recently, which doesn't bode well for TNA. Again, story of TNA's life, pay issues. I'll read this little bit. There's no word yet on what this means for TNA's future with Spike TV. But Spike president Kevin Kay was introducing himself to several of the wrestlers while he was backstage at August 7th's tapings in New York City. Kay is the one at Spike who made the call not to renew TNA's current deal. We noted a few months back that several members of TNA's production crew were behind on pay and threatened to walk out in the middle of the set of tapings before they were paid. Word now is that at least several members of the production crew again were behind in getting paid. Again, pay issues, which is basically the story of TNA's life. But going back to that Spike thing, I think TNA are trying to play the suck-up deal, so to speak, and trying to suck up to Kevin Kay and maybe convincing him into renew the contract. Maybe that could be a good thing, and probably would be a good thing, but if that's the case, don't be doing that, TNA. Go find a new network. There's plenty of other networks out there. If you're going to waste your time doing that, then you ain't going to get a network. It's as simple as that. If you're doing this, or at least trying to do this, and have a plan, then go for it. But you'd be better, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, TNA, you'd be best off finding a new network. Sucking up doesn't always get you anywhere. Sucking up just makes you look like complete idiots, quite frankly. Right, that's about it for this episode of the podcast, episode 20. Hope you've enjoyed it, as I've enjoyed bringing it to you. Next week is going to be a very special episode. We'll get to talk about Raw and hopefully SummerSlam as well. And Vicky Earls, the Irish commodity, will be on the show next week as a guest. Looking forward to that. And I don't know what's going to happen, but yes, Mr. Powers, James's Wrestling Rambles leader and the head of fan relations for Sunday Segue, James Powers, will be joining us as well. So yeah, be sure to tune in for that. A few promotions that I'm going to do right now. Again, see the list. There's a list of guys, whether it's on YouTube and Podomatic or wherever you can see it. There's a list of people who you should follow and a list of the YouTube's channels that you should know. You should know them by now if you've checked them out. Go and follow them. You've got Roxxie's Rambles, Roxxie's channel. You've got Sunday Segue. Check out my boy Sunday Segue. Congratulations to Kinney as well on being a father. Shout out to you, brother. Go and check out Axel Mulligan's Axel's analysis, NXT, Tim Vicious as well. Make sure you check out Tim Vicious as well. The Vicious Rants. He just talks about Raw and gives his opinions on that. Axel talks about NXT and does a blooming good job of doing it too. Quick promotions as well. EPW. Yes, my promotion, my local promotion, European Pro Wrestling. I've got shows coming up at the end of the month. August 29th they're in Croydon in London. August 30th they're in Newton Aycliffe, and August 31st they're in Hartlepool. Guaranteed the next show you'll probably see me at an EPW event, ladies and gentlemen, will be September 20th at Colby Newham's Rainbow Leisure Centre, and then the next day they've got a Redcar show as well, show in Redcar. Will I be at that? Probably not, but hey, things might change. And also August 21st as well, they're in Darlington. EPW will be in Darlington. For more information on that, go to EPW Wrestling, EPW American Wrestling on Facebook, facebook.com/EPW American Wrestling. Like that page as well for more information. EPWWrestling.co.uk. Check out the YouTube pages as well. Yes, I'm making appearances on their YouTube channel as well, in their shows. There's matches on there, great matches. Shows as well, Billingham show. Make sure you check out the Billingham show because I made a cameo appearance on that. I'll let you decide that as well. Also, EPW special as well. I would imagine that's already up, but check it out. EPW Billingham special of the podcast as well. Make sure you check that out. EPW Wrestling 1 on Twitter as well. All that for more information. Be sure to that. Also, besides all that, I'd like to give a shout out right now and introduce, and hopefully this person will be coming on the podcast soon as a guest. She's already up for it. I've already asked the person, so we can work something out. Also, speaking of guests, also be on the lookout for Mark Anthony and Prince Amin somewhere down the road as well as Adam Christ. I've already asked them. I talked to them in Billingham and they've already said they'd like to come on the show. I mentioned it to Prince Amin and he was just up for it straight away. He was like, "You get me on the show, we'll do the thing." He was cool with it, so be on the lookout for that in future episodes of the podcast. I don't know, I might save that for a special occasion. Might do an interview, might do a show, then put the interview on. I don't know what I'm going to do, but they're coming on the podcast very, very soon. Now to the shout out in person on YouTube that I follow, and she follows me on Twitter and YouTube and that. Crystal Taggins. Now please go and check this girl out. She's actually a wrestling manager. She's actually a valet. She does fitness updates, she does wrestling news and that. The link will be in the description, plus her Twitter account as well. Go and follow her, show respect to her, and she's coming on the podcast very, very soon as well. So Crystal, if you're listening to this, okay, stay tuned. I will be calling you, I'll be getting in contact with you and make a talk about the podcast. I am up to my neck in things at the moment right now as far as podcasts go. I work at Middlesbrough Football Club, my local football team who are in the championship here in England, and I've just found out that I've got 3 matches to work in 1 week. So I've got a match to work August 23rd, August 26th and August 30th, which is what a joy. So hopefully that will take care of that business as well. But Crystal, look out, and excellent job as well on your videos. Some of the opinions you had I agree with, some of them I didn't, but hey, that's the beauty of being wrestling fans. And also as well, good job on the trivia as well, that trivia thing which I did. I answered all of them. A few of them I needed to check over, like, because I just wanted to make sure, but I answered all the questions. I didn't cheat. I did it all by myself. Hopefully I got them all right, and if I didn't, well, you know, that's a fail on my part. But anyway, please go and check her out, guys. Crystal Taggins. It's on YouTube. I'll leave the YouTube page, I'll leave the Twitter account. Go and check her out, subscribe to her, show some love, and tell her I sent you her way, if you will, as well. And I have to admit as well, she's rather cute. But again, the beauty of it, she's a wrestling fan and she does a good job of what she does as well. So I like to acknowledge that. Hopefully you will go and show her some love as well. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, my name is the head Anthony Walker. You have been absolutely lovely as always. And until episode 21, Vicky, Earls and James Powers episode, Raw and SummerSlam, which will be next week, August 25th. So until then, ladies and gentlemen, it's the H, the E, to the A to the D, the head Anthony Walker saying cheerio. Goodbye, y'all.